Zach Cox here with Dakota Randall inside Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, where the Patriots season officially came to an end Sunday with a 35-23 loss to the Buffalo Bills. That result, coupled with the Miami Dolphins win over the New York Jets, officially eliminated the Patriots from playoff contention. They will miss the playoffs for the second time in 3 years. Obviously going to be a lot of questions about where this Patriots team goes from here, how they reset for the 2023 season. But for this game here today, I think it was a lot more competitive than a lot of people were expecting, especially given the way that the games between these two teams have shaken out previously. But it was really just a couple glaring, brutal breakdowns that really killed the Patriots in this game.
Yeah, the Patriots did not come out today and get run over as many people expected they would. And of course, the bar for this team can't be not getting blown out in these kinds of games. Obviously, they want to get to the point where they're winning these kinds of games, or at least being far more competitive. But you're right, I think the Patriots largely played a good game today. It was really 4 big plays that did them in. The 2 kickoff returns for touchdown and 2 long touchdown passes, one to John Brown, one to Stefon Diggs. And really, I mean, the story of this game ultimately is the special teams. The special teams lost this game for the Patriots. Beyond the 2 kickoff returns for touchdown, you had 1 kickoff go out of bounds that brought the ball to the 40-yard line. I believe the Bills got a touchdown a few plays later. You had a couple bad kickoff returns for the Patriots. And so this is just a continuation of what we've seen throughout the season. And obviously, the fact that it came up in this game, unfortunately, in what also might be Matthew Slater's final game, is tough for the Patriots because I think they gave themselves a chance to win this game. And in some respects, you could argue, at least on offense, that they were the better team today. They outgained the Bills on offense. I think Mac Jones overall had a better game than Josh Allen, at least in some respects. But it wasn't enough at the end of the day.
Yeah, there was those 2 big plays, the 1 long touchdown to Stefon Diggs, who the Patriots really have never been able to stop. He went over 100 yards again in this game, had the 1 touchdown. There was also a 42-yarder to John Brown in the second half. Those 2 plays really kind of allowed the Bills to pull away. But the 2 biggest ones were the kick returns. This was just really a fitting end to the season for the Patriots special teams, which has been among the NFL's worst all season, by far the worst in the Belichick era for a Patriots team, going by some of those advanced metrics. NYHEIM HINES became just the 11th player in NFL history and first in over a decade to return 2 kick returns, kickoffs for touchdowns rather, in the same game, and those really were the difference here for Buffalo. But overall, I think you can, if you're looking glass half full, if you're looking kind of optimistic take toward next season, the Patriots were close to full strength offensively for really the first time in weeks, and I think that showed.
Maybe.
In months. They had DEVANTE Parker came back from the concussion in this game. He had a great game, had 2 touchdowns. Jacoby Myers had a touchdown. Mac Jones played one of his better games of the season, even though he did finish with 3 interceptions in this game. So there's things you can look at in this game and say, all right, maybe there's something to build on here. Maybe there's something to work with going forward. But in the end, when you commit those kind of just disastrous big play mistakes, it really overshadows everything else.
Yeah, and I think, again, the Patriots in this game sort of showed that they're not a team that's built to play from behind. And obviously every team wants to get ahead, but I think for the Patriots going into next season, they have to play from ahead more often. They're just built more to sustain that kind of way, and I think, yes, they came back a couple times in this game and eventually took a lead, but when they really had to come back in the second half, you got an interception, another interception. It's just they're not built to play that way. But I do agree with you. I think there are some silver linings here. I think if they can hit on the draft again, I think there are a lot of young pieces on this team that you can build around, especially on defense with Jack Jones. Obviously, his season kind of ended with a suspension, which is unfortunate, but him, Marcus Jones, Christian Barmore, players like Kyle Duggar, a lot of players on the defensive side of the ball, and over on offense, if you are a believer in Mac Jones, someone like Ramondre Stevenson, we'll see on Cole Strange, and if they can hit on the draft again, I really think there's something to build on for this team. But going into the offseason, I think the conversation is going to be on the coaching. That's going to be the biggest talking point. A lot of people will talk about Mac Jones. I think he played well today. I don't really think there should be a quarterback controversy in the offseason, but it's no doubt they have a lot of things to fix in the offseason. I think the conversation is going to be on coaching, as it should, especially on special teams.
Yeah, those coaching questions are ones that are probably going to have to be answered within the next couple of weeks, really, with how quickly some of these, especially coordinator level jobs, fill up. It seems like if Bill O'Brien is coming back to the Patriots, or if some big name offensive mind is coming in to potentially replace Matt Patricia.
Right.
It feels like that's not a move the Patriots are going to be able to make in April. That probably has to happen relatively soon, so we should have some sort of clarity on that, I would imagine, within the next couple of weeks. Also going to be some questions on some important Patriots players. I mentioned Matthew Slater, Devin McCourty. Neither of them would confirm whether this was their final game. You really kind of got that sense from both of them that maybe they want to digest it a little bit before they make that final announcement.
There were enough tears going around that sure made it seem.
It does seem like the Patriots will have to replace both of them this offseason. Obviously, they're two really top leaders from this team from the last decade or so. We also don't know whether players like Jacoby Myers will resign. Damian Harris is another free agent. Jonathan Jones is a free agent. There's some big name starters on both sides of the ball for the Patriots that will be hitting free agency. Going to be very interesting to see which of those players come back. Those are things we're probably not going to know for a couple months because free agency doesn't open until March, but there is a chance for this roster to look substantially different next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just on the receiving core, Nelson Aguilar, another player who's a free agent. We'll see with Jacoby Myers, but I think there's a lot of uncertainty with that receiver group, and a lot of talk will be on the receiver group again, as it is every offseason. I mean, you have Tyquan Thornton. I think he had some moments this season, but we don't know what we're going to get from him next season. Again, Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, both free agents. I don't think you can bank on DeVanте Parker any given year, just given his injury history. And we'll see on Kendrick Bourne. I mean, obviously, Patriots fans think he should have had a much more active season. There were trade talks during the season and during training camp. We'll see if those come back up this offseason. So I think there are a lot of work could be done there. And then, on defense, if McCourty retires, I think that is kind of, an underrated thing. People, not underrated in the sense
no obvious replacement for him on this roster.
Yeah, you got to get, your next franchise free safety unless they just try and plug in another player. But that's a big loss if he goes. You'd like to think they can make it work on special teams if Matthew Slater retires, but if McCourty does retire, that's a big loss.
Yep, a lot of questions again that this Patriots team will need to answer during their offseason, which is already underway. Bills headed to the playoffs, Miami Dolphins headed to the playoffs, Patriots going home. They will now be off until next season.